Thank you for taking the time to be here to listen to this PowerPoint presentation of mine. My name is Gabriella Rowe, and I am an undergraduate college student studying business at the University of New Mexico, and I would like to take you through some discoveries of mine surrounding my topic of discussion, the negatives of social media on the brain. This discussion is going to be broken up into multiple different categories, followed by a brief conclusion. My overall goal within this presentation is to present to you the facts, misconceptions, and precautions that you and your child can take to safely navigate this digital world we live in today. Let's get started. First off, how do we define social media? Social media is defined as websites and applications, also known as apps, that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. Some trending and modern examples of these apps include Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. Facebook, to give you all a bit of a background on each of these apps and who mainly uses them, who their target audiences are. For example, Facebook is used primarily by an older generation, specifically in America. Within foreign countries, it's actually more popular amongst the younger generation. Many young adults have Facebook, and it's definitely becoming more trendy as time goes by. However, Instagram is definitely one of the most trendiest social media apps amongst young adults, college students, high school students, very well known. YouTube is primarily video content, and the main target audience is young users, targets young adults. Twitter is definitely most popular amongst young adults and the younger generation. However, it has definitely risen within politics, so that's something to note. Snapchat is used definitely by the youth, very common as early as middle schoolers to use Snapchat throughout high school, even in college. LinkedIn, however, is the unique one out of this bunch. It is used in a professional setting and is more like a way to connect with people who are like-minded within the professional field, within the workplace. So it offers a social and business connection. Now on to online dating apps. How do we define online dating apps? An online dating application is an online dating service presented through a mobile phone application, often taking advantage of a smartphone's GPS location capabilities, always on-hand presence, and easy access to digital photo galleries and mobile wallets to enhance the traditional nature of online dating. Some of these online dating apps include examples like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. These are some of the top 3 most popular dating apps amongst college students. However, it's important to note that these dating apps are also becoming more popular amongst younger people, even younger than college. High school, it can be as early as high school, early teens. People think that these apps are trendy and exciting, and they've heard and been influenced by their friends, and so they want to try them out. However, what they don't realize is how dangerous these apps can be, especially to people who are, have access to GPS location. Your phone is always with you. You're always with your phone. Easy access to digital photo galleries, mobile wallets. I mean, it says it in the definition. A lot of people like to go into these apps blindly. However, I believe that there is a lot of room for error. Although these apps try to put on this trendy, glossy look, a lot of young women, young men can become victims to things, just can really not understand the dangers of these online dating apps. So that is why I wanted to include it in this presentation, because I feel that any parent should be aware of the dangers that these apps pose in terms of personal online security and safety. So how does social media affect the brain? We're taking a step back here. Number one, it's addictive. When we see someone like a post of ours or see more followers are being added to our account over time, our brain is chemically wired to register these actions as positive, outweighing the number of negativity that exists online. Social media, when linked to addiction, can provide one with a quick hit through the instant gratification that it serves to its audience. Social media users can be likened to a drug and elicit addiction-like symptoms. Social media triggers sadness and less well-being. Studies show that the more we use social media, the less happy we seem to be. Social media encourages us to enjoy less moment-to-moment happiness and overall less life satisfaction. It can also lead us to have perceived social isolation. Social media can lead to jealousy, a vicious cycle. It's no secret that the comparison factor in social media leads to jealousy. Most people experience this emotion when looking at others over a screen, even if they don't mean to. We tend to do this comparison factor unknowingly because it is what makes us human. More friends does not equal more social. Regardless of how big of a following or platform you may have on social media apps such as Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat, more friends on social media does not necessarily mean that you have a better social life. It takes actual social interaction, non-virtual interaction, to keep healthy and genuine relationships. You think it helps you, but it does not. When one uses social media as an outlet, we think it will help us, but oftentimes it can only create further confusion and spark negative thoughts. Comparison is the worst enemy. We fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others as we scroll through our feeds and make judgments based off of those comparisons. Social media consumption affects your sleep. Social media keeps us up past our bedtime, but more specifically, the artificial blue light given off by smartphones activates arousing neurons in the brain that disrupt the body's ability to produce melatonin, a sleep-inducing hormone. Social media usage across age groups and by the numbers. Within the U.S., the percentage of people in the United States who use social media on a regular basis has jumped drastically. From 2005, we had about 5%, and it's jumped from 2018 to 69%. This is also relevant within age groups across the U.S. We have teenagers starting out at 94%, 18 to 29 years of age at 88%, and it's very obvious that the older generation of people, 65 and older, only engages with social media 37%. So these percentages are very important to note, especially if you have teenagers, young adults. Their social media usage percentages are often higher than those of older generations. Social media usage as a percentage of those who use social media daily. Some social media apps such as Facebook within this diagram are used more on a daily basis. A lot of people check Facebook for news-related current events. It definitely depends, however, because apps see trends go up and down. However, this diagram is up for debate depending on the time that these percentages are recorded. Social media usage, as an analysis of usage over the years, in 2020, we have seen 79% of Americans have a social media profile. When you compare that to 2008, when only 10% of Americans had a social media profile, that is a very drastic change. This number, this percentage has increased from 2008. It's jumped to 50% in 2011 and is only getting higher as time goes by. When taking a look at social media usage globally, we see that around the world, these percentages have gone up. This means that as social media usage has increased over generations, keeping up our mental health and developing healthy online habits is becoming more of a priority and topic of conversation than it has in the past. Drawing in awareness. Something to keep in mind are 3 things you can do to make better decisions when it comes to social media awareness. 1. You can draw in awareness. 2. Limit your screen time. There are apps on your phone such as that actually measure your screen time, so I would suggest looking at those apps and taking advantage of those features. And number 3, put your mental health and needs first. This is most important. Signs of behavior you should be aware of in your child. A. Lack of motivation. B. Irritability and mood swings. C. Odd sleep patterns, either too much sleep, too little sleep, or irregular sleep patterns. D. Common negative self-talk, or more importantly, frequent negative self-talk. E. Loss of interest in certain hobbies or activities that they once enjoyed. F. Disengagement from social life, friends, social opportunities, etc. And G. High anxiety levels. If you notice one or multiple, especially multiple of these signs within your child, I would suggest that it's important to sit them down, to have a conversation with them about how they're doing, and to see if social media has to do with how they're feeling. Very oftentimes we don't understand how social media is affecting our mood and how it's affecting the way we see ourselves and our daily life. And it's very important that we take a moment to reflect and notice these changes within ourselves, but also to prepare our children to notice these changes and make them more aware. I would definitely suggest that if they are having trouble talking to you, that they seek help from a mental health specialist, because therapy and talking to someone whom they are comfortable with is most important. Ways you can put your phone down. Deleting your email app. This will allow less distractions throughout your day. 2. Take a social media cleanse. 10 days or a longer break if needed. Use airplane mode, especially more often during the day. This way you can be less distracted and you can get your tasks done without the buzzing of your phone every 5 seconds. Skip auto logins for social media apps. This way you're not as tempted to get into those apps and it's not as easy for you to log into them. I would also suggest using timer software to track how often you spend on certain apps, and especially on social media. This can help you see how often you're on certain apps, and it can allow you to limit those apps per day or per week. In conclusion, social media is a tool that we use in our daily lives. Social media can also be used in many different settings, both professional and personal. We should also be aware of the risks, which are just as important as knowing the benefits. Social media is a tool that many of us are familiar with in our everyday lives that brings us many tools and resources and unique connections. It can be used professionally for the workplace, for personal reasons, or for fun. However, it can oftentimes have more cons than pros. Before we engage with social media, we should know the risks that we are taking with our mental health, and it is even more important to teach our children this as they grow older and more advanced in this digital world.